Hello SABC folks. I hope everyone is doing good. So today I'm going to continue discussing about the single sign-on setup, the advanced and enhanced feature of single sign-on. If you remember previously I created a video where I have shown all the process and steps to configure single sign-on in our Salesforce org where we check this SAML enabled feature and created this Axiom single sign-on in our org. So just to give a quick recap, I will show you what we achieved in our previous video. I will log out of my org and see that we have currently two options to log in. First is with my Salesforce credentials using username and password, and the second option I get is login with Axiom. So I will show you both. I can log in with my credentials at first. See, I have successfully logged in, and I can also use my single sign-on setup, which is Axiom, to log in into my org in a whole different way. So I will choose the second option, login with Axiom. Here I will provide my basic details like username for which I want to log in, and other details should exactly match with my single sign-on setup here. For example, issuer should be same whatever I have put here in my Salesforce org. So I will put this issuer here and match other details as well. For example, entity ID is this URL, and in my single sign-on settings, it is the same entity ID here. Other details like recipient URL. This is my org's domain URL where I want to log in. So these are the only details that you need to fill in order to log in using Axiom. That is your username, entity ID, and issuer. Click on request sample and then log in. This will successfully redirect me to my Salesforce org. So these are the two ways by which I can log in into my org. Now, there is an advanced feature in Salesforce that there is an option called disable login with Salesforce credentials. So with this term, it clearly indicates that I don't want to allow users to log in with their username and password. Instead, I will make them mandatory to log in with Axiom. So if we enable this feature, and then feature's name is disable login with Salesforce credentials. So I don't want to allow the users to log in with their credentials anymore. Although I have enabled this, but you will see that I will be able to log in with my credentials even now as well, because there is an additional step that needs to be configured. This is just to show that even after enabling this feature here, I will still be able to log in uh, with my Salesforce credentials. Now that additional step, let's go to that additional step. You have to mark this feature man or to profile specific. So I will go to profile. Although I have enabled this feature from the single sign-on setup page, I have to go and mark this feature to individual profiles to be applicable for them. So my profile is system administrator. Under system permissions, go to system permissions and then click edit. There will be a checkbox which is called is single sign-on enabled. Yes, this is the one. Check this box and then save this profile setting. Now my setting is complete. I have enabled this feature from single sign-on setup page and mark this checkbox from my profile. Now if I log out of my org, I should not be able to log in with my Salesforce credentials. Even if I am entering the correct username and password, it will throw the error. See, I should not be able to log in now. Now only option I get is login with Axiom. This is the only option now I can log in with. So I need to copy the username. See, once again I'll click on login, but still it will not allow me to log in with my credentials because I've enabled that feature. Okay, this is how I have made myself mandatory to use the Axiom in order to log in into Salesforce. and not with my Salesforce credentials. Now let's go to my domain, and this is very helpful because it is profile specific. It is not for the entire users in the organization. It is profile specific. So in the my domain under authentication configuration, if you click on edit, from here also you can make Axiom as your mandatory source of login by unchecking this login form and just keep Axiom here. But the disadvantage here is this will be applicable for all the users, irrespective of profile or whatever their type is. Everyone will have to log in with Axiom, but this is not recommended because once everyone is made mandatory to log in with Axiom, then there will be no one to log in with credentials. So it is good that you enable this feature on profile specific basis. If you don't want to allow users to log in with their credentials, disable this from here instead of removing the login form itself. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.